Dexter Morgan was a serial killer who murdered hundreds while hiding in plain sight as a blood spatter analyst for Miami Metro. Yet in the early seasons, none of the department's top detectives suspected a thing. None except Sergeant James Doakes, of course. From the beginning, Doakes sensed something was off about Dexter. His instincts were razor sharp, and his suspicions were confirmed in Season 2 when he discovered Dexter was the Bay Harbor Butcher. In this video, we're gonna break down how exactly Doakes caught and discovered Dexter was a serial killer, and how his own dark past and personal demons and Dexter's fatal mistakes brought everything to light. But in order to do this, we need to understand who James Doakes actually was, and why this made him suspicious of Dexter in the first place. Doakes is introduced as a tough, sharp-eyed detective sergeant at Miami Metro and becomes Dexter's primary antagonist throughout the first 2 seasons. One of the main reasons Doakes constantly had his doubts about Dexter was his background as an ex-Special Forces operative, which had exposed him to extreme violence and left him with a darkness that mirrored Dexter's, giving him the ability to recognize it.
I spent years looking the enemy in the face, and I'm telling you, Morgan is dangerous.
This darkness in Doakes surfaced multiple times throughout Season 1. For example, during what seemed like a routine patrol with Angel Batista, Doakes spotted a man carrying groceries. Jacques Bayard, a former Haitian Death Squad officer connected to war crimes from Doakes' Black Ops past. Bayard fled on sight, and Doakes gave immediate chase. The pursuit ended beneath a bridge, where Batista, arriving seconds later, heard 2 shots and found Bayard dead with a revolver nearby. Doakes claimed Bayard fired first, but Batista's testimony and blood spatter evidence suggested otherwise. Doakes had fired first. Despite these contradictions, the case was abruptly closed after a call from Washington citing sensitive foreign relation issues. No charges were filed, and the truth was buried. This moment revealed how closely Doakes and Dexter mirrored each other. Doakes didn't kill out of duty alone. He took out someone he believed deserved to die. Like Dexter, he acted as both judge and executioner, guided by a personal code shaped by violence. Remember this because it's important, and it's something that we'll talk about more as the video progresses. In a similar yet distinct scenario, Doakes took another life on the job, and it shows us just how traumatized he is. After the murder of Alicia Barnes, executed with 2 shots to the chest and 1 to the head, Doakes immediately recognized the pattern as triple tapping, a Special Forces technique. The precision pointed to someone with military training, and the prime suspect was her husband, Curtis Barnes, a former Army Ranger like Doakes. Doakes arranged a meeting with someone from Barnes' unit at the Blue Wing Marina, only to find Barnes himself waiting. The confrontation was tense and personal. Barnes admitted to killing his wife in a moment of rage, overwhelmed by the emotional toll of war and the struggle to adapt to civilian life. In a moment of sheer vulnerability, Doakes confessed that he had left his own wife for fear of doing the same.
I left her
Why was that?
because I was afraid if I did not kill her.
The tension peaked when Barnes raised his weapon, attempting to kill Doakes. Acting on instinct, Doakes fired a single fatal shot. This killing was significant because not only did it reveal that Doakes' cold indifference towards taking a life, but it also offered a glimpse into his psyche. Like Dexter, Doakes carried his own dark passenger, both from trauma and expressed through violence. He literally admitted that his inner darkness ran so deep that he divorced his wife, the woman he claimed to love, because he thought that he might violently murder her like Barnes. That's why he saw through Dexter. That same darkness that lived in Doakes was the very thing that he sensed in Dexter. But Doakes' military background wasn't the only reason why he was able to see Dexter for who he is. So keep watching and subscribe if you're enjoying the video at this point. Doakes was a complete loner. Despite past relationships, including one with Maria LaGuerta, Doakes functioned as a loner at Miami Metro. His aggressive temperament and blunt communication kept others at arm's length. His isolation becomes painfully evident when Deborah, whom he brought as an excuse to leave a family gathering early, effortlessly connects with his mother and sisters. While Doakes remains rigid and uncomfortable, Deborah establishes a natural warmth and rapport with his family, who responded to her with the openness and affection they clearly wished to share with him.
It's all go.
Oh, are you sure, honey? I got some cheesecake in the fridge.
Yeah, we're sure.
You know, I would love some cheesecake. There you go. You can wait in the car. That's your call.
The scene painfully illustrated how Doakes' anger and darkness served as a defensive barrier against intimacy, keeping even his own family at arm's length, while they readily welcomed a virtual stranger into their circle of trust.
There's a party tonight.
No thanks.
But I don't want to go either. But the guy lost body parts and we get to tell him we caught the guy. Come on, what else you got going on?
Wouldn't you like to know?
I could give you many more examples, but the main point stays the same. It's that Doakes never really connected with anyone. However, this gave him an advantage. You see, his isolation allowed him to see things clearly without friendships or emotional attachments clouding his judgment, which is probably why Dexter managed to avoid suspicion for so long. I would like to ask, if you want to see me make a video about this topic, then definitely let me know in the comments. Now, looking from the outside, Doakes could see what others couldn't, and that there was something off about Dexter. While everyone else just worked with him normally, Doakes noticed how weird and eerie Dexter really was. You might wonder what Doakes noticed that everyone else missed, and honestly, looking back, it's pretty obvious. Throughout season 1, Dexter acted like a total weirdo. Early in the season, later in the same episode, when the wife of Mike Donovan, the man Dexter killed at the start of the first episode, is at the station asking about her missing husband, Dexter acts strangely once again, and Doakes immediately picks up on it.
What do you care about that woman?
I don't. I was just...
You like when women cry? You like that? What's your thing, psycho?
During another crime scene in season 1 episode 7, Circle of Friends, Doakes caught Dexter being weird around blood, death, and gore.
You getting goddamn hard on there, Morgan?
Doakes makes it clear to Dexter exactly how strange he thinks he is, and Doakes is completely justified in doing so.
Your instincts were dead on. They're always dead on when it comes to killers. Why is that?
As the Ice Truck Killer case developed, Doakes only had more opportunities to observe Dexter's behavior. When Angel's life hung in the balance after being stabbed, the stark contrast between Dexter's emotional detachment and his colleague's genuine concern became impossible to ignore. As everyone embraced in relief upon hearing Angel would survive, Doakes watched Dexter slip away and confronted him at the elevator, physically pinning him against the wall with disgust.
But you just found out that somebody who's supposed to be your friend is gonna live. Does that make you feel anything? Anything at all?
Take your fucking hand off me.
What makes this interaction important, however, is that it shows Doakes that Dexter has a dark side, a less innocent, more calculating side that he keeps hidden at Miami Metro. In this scene, you can see Dexter's serial killer face. Just for a split second, his mask slips, and Doakes definitely sees. Similar to earlier, I can honestly give you 10 more examples of this, and it's taking a lot of self-control for me not to, as every interaction between the pair was so entertaining. But overall, the point that I'm trying to make is that Dexter's continuous strange behavior makes Doakes highly suspicious. If it happened once or twice, Doakes would probably just think that he's some weird lab geek who is socially awkward. But the fact that it happens so often is what makes Doakes suspect that Dexter is hiding something. LaGuerta overlooks Dexter's suspicious behavior, likely due to bias and a desire to avoid conflict. Doakes, however, less concerned with politeness, picks up on Dexter's poor lies and grows increasingly suspicious. Trusting his instincts, he follows Dexter to the shipping yard, where he catches him searching a container.
Surprise, motherfucker!
Dexter tries to make up another excuse, but as someone on Reddit put it, Doakes has an allergic reaction to bullshit, which leads to physical confrontation between them. Surprised by Dexter's unexpected fighting skills, Doakes realized that there was much more to the lab geek than he ever suspected, cementing his determination to uncover what Dexter was hiding. Doakes already sensed a darkness in Dexter from his military background, which gave him the creeps. He objectively observed Dexter's strange behavior, and this fight revealed that Dexter possessed fighting skills capable of taking down an ex-Special Forces Marine, abilities that Dexter has hidden from everyone. Combine that with Dexter's mysterious Ice Truck Killer connection, and these revelations drove Doakes to obsessively shadow Dexter in season 2, determined to expose his dark secret. He follows Dexter every night, even watching him for hours at the bowling alley, convinced that there's something dark hiding behind Dexter's fake persona. One night, Dexter notices a car following him and prepares to attack the driver, thinking it's little Chino, only to find out it's Doakes.
Who else you got following you?
Apparently no one.
Go ahead. Try it. I've been waiting.
It only gives Doakes more reason to be suspicious of him. The dynamics shift temporarily when Doakes catches Dexter at a Narcotics Anonymous meeting, and mistakenly believes that he found the explanation for Dexter's odd behavior: drug addiction. This brief misunderstanding sparks sympathy in Doakes, who likely relates to the mental toll of constantly dealing with brutal murders. He tells Dexter to stay clean and temporarily backs off his surveillance, until a conversation with Deborah reveals that Dexter has never even smoked a cigarette, reigniting Doakes' suspicions.
So if I were to take a hair from your desk and run it for drugs, it would come back positive, right? Because why would someone pretend to be an addict if he's not? Unless he's got something a hell of a lot worse to hide.
Dexter, feeling cornered as Doakes increasingly unraveled his life, begins to fight back strategically. He deliberately sabotages Doakes by providing incorrect blood analysis on the Craig Wilson case, leading Doakes to relentlessly interrogate an innocent man. When LaGuerta discovers the truth through Dexter's blood file, she sends the man home, making Doakes look both incompetent and unstable. This calculated move damages Doakes' credibility, just as he was getting closer to exposing Dexter's secrets, particularly after he requested files related to the shipping yard massacre from Camilla Fig. On another occasion, Dexter executed a direct strategy to derail Doakes' investigation. When Doakes confronted him about his mysterious past with no early records, Dexter intentionally provoked him with calculated words before suddenly delivering a headbutt, then calmly walking away, fully aware that his actions would trigger Doakes' volatile temper. As predicted, Doakes pursued him and violently assaulted him in front of their colleagues, resulting in his immediate suspension. This tactical sacrifice effectively sidelined his pursuer while portraying Doakes as unstable and obsessive to everyone at Miami Metro, temporarily protecting Dexter's secret life. In a desperate pursuit of truth, Doakes breaks into Dexter's apartment and discovers his hidden blood slide collection behind the air conditioner, trophies confirming his darkest suspicions. Doakes takes the slides to Haiti, arranging for analysis through his old colleague, Leonis. In a twist of fate, however, the slides are found in Doakes' car trunk at the airport, making him the prime suspect in the Bay Harbor butcher case. This allows Dexter to temporarily escape suspicion and even analyze his own blood slides. Undeterred, Doakes uses a GPS tracker on Dexter's boat and follows him to the Everglades cabin, where Dexter had killed Santos Jimenez. There, he catches Dexter red-handed with dismembered body parts.
That's right, motherfucker. It's over.
How'd you find me?
GPS tap on your boat.
Jesus Christ, Morgan. Jesus fucking Christ, you're the Bay Harbor butcher.
Doakes confronts Dexter at gunpoint, but despite landing a shot to Dexter's thigh, he was ultimately overpowered. After a brutal fight through the cabin and into knee-deep swamp water, Dexter rendered him unconscious with a chokehold. Doakes awoke imprisoned in the cabin's cage, setting the stage for what I think are the best episodes of the entire series. Episodes which give us a deep look into the psyche of both men, allowing us to fully and truly understand why Doakes always knew that there was something off about Dexter. And if you think that you already know, keep watching because you will be surprised. But before we do that, I wanted to remind you to subscribe with notifications turned on, as it really helps out the channel. When Doakes awoke imprisoned in the cabin's cage, their confrontation evolved into a profound psychological duel. Dexter taunted him, suggesting that Doakes' ability to sense his darkness stemmed from their shared nature as killers, like I said at the start of the video.
You're a killer. I catch killers.
So do I. I caught you.
I'm not a killer.
You are. That's why you've always known what I am.
Doakes rejected the comparison, insisting he only killed while on duty, maintaining his moral high ground. Dexter defended his code as superior to the flawed justice system, arguing he was a bargain compared to the legal processes that let criminals go free. As their conversations continued, moments of unexpected connection surfaced. Both had seen the justice system fail, both understood violence, and both followed personal codes that often bypassed the law. Their exchange revealed a deep mutual understanding. Despite their hostility, each recognized in each other the darkness that most people miss, a recognition that fueled their rivalry from the start. As their confrontation deepened, Dexter reflected on how Doakes' isolation had led to this moment.
If you had a personal life, you might not have made me your obsession, and we wouldn't be here right now.
This insight influenced Dexter's moral calculus. With fewer personal connections than Dexter, Doakes seemed more expendable. His disappearance would cause less collateral damage to innocent lives than if Dexter confessed and devastated Rita, her children, and Deborah. As Doakes remained trapped, their conversations continued over hours and days, eventually becoming repetitive. Dexter repeatedly hammered the same point, that Doakes was fundamentally a killer too, citing his unusually high number of officer-involved shootings as evidence. He insisted that the shared darkness was why Doakes had sensed that something was wrong with him from the beginning.
Regardless of how we got here, one of the two killers in this cabin has to go away.
I am not a killer.
Right.
There's no way people are gonna believe I did this shit.
You were U.S. Special Forces. I'm sure you have done this.
As Doakes spent more time in the cage, Dexter gradually realized that he couldn't and didn't want to kill him, knowing that it would go up against Harry's code. Instead, he began speaking with Doakes about the only option that he could see, turning himself in. This decision marked a subtle but powerful shift in their dynamic.
Morgan! Dexter.
I've really enjoyed our conversations, James.
This subtle change from Morgan and Sergeant to Dexter and James reflected a newfound, if reluctant, mutual respect. Though they remained adversaries, they briefly connected as two men who finally understood each other and, at some level, appreciated each other's darkness. However, this connection and their conversations, which I loved by the way, were brought to an end by I think everyone's most hated character, Lila West. Lila's discovery of the cabin, using Dexter's stolen GPS device, provided an unexpected resolution to his moral dilemma about turning himself in. While Dexter wrestled with Doakes' suggestion to surrender, potentially protecting his loved ones but sacrificing his freedom, Lila took matters into her own hands, without his knowledge or consent. Arriving at the remote cabin in the Everglades, she methodically turned on one of the propane valves and ignited an explosion that killed Doakes and destroyed critical evidence. This act unwittingly secured Dexter's freedom while eliminating the only person who had uncovered his true identity. Ironically, the very qualities that enabled Doakes to identify Dexter's darkness, his military background, social isolation, and intimate understanding of violence, ultimately contributed to his death and posthumous framing as the Bay Harbor Butcher. Throughout their cat-and-mouse game, Doakes' ability to sense what others missed had made him uniquely dangerous to Dexter. His documented record of officer-involved shootings, reputation as departmental loner, and notoriously confrontational nature made him the perfect scapegoat. The evidence Dexter had carefully arranged, the blood slides in Doakes' car, his fingerprints on the kill tools, and his unexplained disappearance neatly pointed to him as the very killer that he had so relentlessly pursued. In death, Doakes became defined by the darkness that he had recognized in Dexter. So, that's how and why Sergeant Doakes knew that Dexter was a serial killer. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video about every single person James Doakes killed.